So the first thing you're going to want to do is log into Data Director, website being www.datadirector.com/ESUHSD. On the login page, you want to put your last name, first initial, and your password. Go ahead and log in. Choose a site. If you're given this option, choose the current site that you are working at. Most of you won't have more than one site, so I'm going to go ahead and be a teacher at James Lick for this training. So I am currently logged in. You get to the welcome sign or welcome screen. You want to use the switcher upper left, or down at the bottom you'll see icons to launch the page you want, the second one being assessments. I tend to use the switcher only because I tend to be working on the top portion of the website, so it's quicker and easier for me. Choose assessment. You'll be taken to the assessment page. On the left hand side you will see a left menu bar. If you don't see it, make sure it's not hidden by clicking on the arrow on the upper just below the switcher. You'll see a little arrow. Go ahead and open that up. You want to click on the second menu, create assessment, and then you want to choose new answer sheet assessment, first one of the options, and you're taken to the actual let's build a template page. The first or top half of this page deals with the structure of the exam, the summary, title, type, subject area, etc. The bottom half deals with the actual question type, the structure of each question. So we're going to go ahead and start at the top. I start with title, which all the red asterisk fields need to be filled in. So the title, I start with the year, only because I organize each assessment by year. In case I need to duplicate it from previous years, I can locate it faster. And we're going to call this Algebra 1. So I go year and then subject, and then I say the type of assessment it is. In this case it's a quiz, and I can either be specific like a unit or a chapter or actual title like this is solving equations. So I'm going to call this unit 1. Grades, I would recommend 9, 10, 11, 12 just because we don't have any pure grade level courses anymore. So then we move into subject area. In this case it's mathematics. And type, this can be a little confusing. I recommend using user created because when you search for exams, these are the ones that you're using for your classes. If you're building them for your department or your school, then go ahead and click on school. I'm going to pick user created. Year needs to be the current year, which will be 12-13. Date defaults to the date that you're building the exam shell. And you can select the field and use the calendar. I'm actually going to see Unit 1. This is quiz in Unit 1. I'm going to say it's maybe 2 weeks into the school year. Or I can select a date range. It's useful if you're using it in your department, and in the list displayed you want to let teachers know that this is when the exam should be given, is during this particular week. So if I wanted to say, August 24th through the 31st, teachers know that that's when that quiz was given. I'm going to stick with the single date. Upload a file. This is extremely helpful if you are building an exam that you want to use or share with your school and they don't have a copy of the hard copy of the test. You can actually upload it to Data Directors so they can download it and print it from here. You can also upload, I recommend an answer key so that if other teachers use it, they can download the answer keys so they can verify results. You can upload PDFs, JPEGs, like if you have an image, say you're doing even a U.S. history exam or quiz, and you want to have an image on the exam available for teachers to download and use. Add standards. I'm going to discuss that in a different training, so I encourage you to view that training as well. Show advanced options. I will come back to that as we move forward because it'll make more sense. So the top part of the exam shell, answer sheet shell is done. The bottom half I'm going to start. I can give it a section name, or I can leave that blank if I'm only going to use one section. In this particular training, I'm going to show you two different sections, so I'm going to go ahead and title this. This is Unit 1 of Algebra 1, so we're going to call this Solving Equations. In one variable. Question type, label, answer, points, standards. I'm going to actually add one question on the right hand side. You'll see a green button and a blue button. You want to use the blue button first and create one question so that you can describe or identify the structure that you want to use for all the questions within this section. So the first thing is the question type. I'm going to stick with multiple choice, but you can see you have options. The question label, I would leave that as a default because Data Director will just fill in Q1, then Q2, representing question 1, 2, etc. And your answer, I would leave that blank for now, but your responses, you can use the edit link and you can have more responses, less responses. You can actually create a custom response choices. So if you wanted a yes, no, click on Y and N, yay and nay. So I have that displaying now as my structure. I'm going to actually keep it with the ABCD. Point value, I'm going to leave that as 1 right now. Standards, I'm not attaching standards for this particular quiz, and the main reason for that is that this section is representing a content standards in itself. So dividing it up into adding a standard will kind of like duplicate that. So once I have the structure built, I'm going to click on the green button where I add multiple questions and a slider, which is not real intuitive, but if I want to use the button, you'll see on the far right that it's starting to add questions. So I want to add 10 questions and click on the blue plus sign and you'll see that it populates with the exact same structure as your first question. What you'll notice is I added 10. It wasn't 1 times 10, it's actually adding 10 more questions, so I have 11 questions. I don't want 11, so I'm going to actually use the red X on the right and I'm going to delete one. It asks me, do you really want to confirm it? Yes. It's gone. Okay, what I want to do now is put in the answer key. So that might be A. Why isn't it not accepting? I don't know. That's weird. It won't accept it for the first one. So we're not going to have an answer right now. I might be able to come back and edit that. And that's it for the first section. From here I would just click Save Changes, but I want to show you what the Advanced Options does. If I click on Show Advanced Options, I will see that I can change the point value of each question by making a total point. Say if there's 10 questions and I want it to be 50 points. Yep, if I click Apply, it's going to make each question worth 5 points. I'm going to leave it as empty. Yep, it must be, so I'm going to say 1 and it won't do that, so 10 points. So it's 1 point per question. The other thing that advanced options will show you is this little phrase that says, or check option, it's restart question numbering at 1 for this section. If I deselect it, you will see in the next section what that does. So I'm going to actually add a section to this. The first section was solving equations in one variable. The second section, I'm going to call it solving equations in two variables. So I'm going to add one question, and you'll notice that it starts over with number 1. I'm going to deselect the box, and you'll see now it changes to 11. My answer this time, I want them to be yes, no, YN, yay, nay, and then I want to add multiple questions, point value, standards no, add multiple questions. I want to add 4 more to make a total of 5. Click on use the slider and then click on the blue plus sign, and you see that all of them now are yay, nay for 5 more questions. Total is 15 questions on this. If I reselected this option under the advanced options, you'll see that it will start over with 1 through 5. So I want to deselect it because the hard copy of the test I have or quiz I have is actually 1 through 15. So there you go. From here, I want to put in the answers. The last thing you're going to want to do is obviously save changes. So click on that. You'll see a green assessment saved bar at the bottom, and that means you're good to go. Lastly, you're going to want to preview the answer sheet. So I'm going to go to Find Assessment. Click Search. This is a wrong year, so I want to select the current year. And I may want to do subject, but you don't have to. You just get a longer list. It just filters out the list to make it shorter. Click on search, and you can see that I've been playing around a bit. So I have Algebra Quiz 1. Memorize the number 5823 or write it down. You can always find it by looking at the assessment, but you'll need that for scanning. Also, it's useful to find using the ID number up here, so I can put it in here and search, and just that assessment title will show up. So I'm going to click on it. It's going to have the information at the top, assessment options, how is it structured, 2 sections, 15 questions. Down at the bottom, you'll see the answer sheet keys or answer sheet templates. I'm going to click on the one without names just to get a sense of what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and put the PDF file in your view. The first page is important to read. Second page, let's look at it, and it looks good. It's 1 through 10, and the second section titled for me 11 through 15. So if that's what you want, then of course you will close out and go back and print up answer sheets for your classes. Okay, that ends this training. If you have any questions, feel free to call me or email me, and I'll be glad to contact you. Okay, thank you.